Jamaica, an island where turquoise waters crash against limestone cliffs that took millions of years to sculpt, where mountains draped in emerald green mist rise from shores so pristine they seem untouched by time. This is Jamaica, a Caribbean jewel that refuses to be defined by a single story. Here, underground rivers carve cathedral-like caves through ancient rock, while above ground, waterfalls thunder down moss-covered precipices with a force that shakes the very earth beneath your feet. But Jamaica's beauty runs deeper than its postcard-perfect beaches. This is a land where geology becomes art, where every sunrise paints the blue mountains in shades of gold that seem almost too vivid to be real, where mangrove forests create intricate underwater cities teeming with life, and where colonial architecture stands as testament to centuries of human ambition and resilience. From the moment you set foot on this island, you realize you're not just visiting another tropical paradise, you're stepping into a living masterpiece carved by volcanic forces, shaped by tropical storms, and perfected by time itself. Today we're embarking on a visual journey through Jamaica's 12 most breathtaking wonders. These aren't just scenic spots, they're geological marvels, ecological treasures, and cultural landmarks that reveal the true soul of this extraordinary island. From hidden lagoons that glow with bioluminescent magic to mountain peaks that pierce the clouds, each wonder tells a story of natural power, human ingenuity, and timeless beauty. So settle in, because we're about to discover why Jamaica isn't just a destination, it's a revelation. Number 12. Rio Grande Valley. Deep in the heart of Portland Parish, the Rio Grande Valley unfolds like a living canvas painted in every shade of green imaginable. This isn't just another river valley, it's a geological masterpiece that took millions of years to carve, where the Rio Grande River winds through limestone gorges and tropical rainforest with the patience of an artist perfecting their craft. The valley stretches for miles, creating a natural corridor that feels like stepping into a primordial world where time moves differently. The river itself is a marvel of natural engineering. Fed by countless mountain springs and seasonal waterfalls, it flows with a clarity that allows you to see straight to the riverbed, where smooth stones worn by millennia of water flow create patterns that seem almost deliberate. The current is gentle, yet persistent, carrying nutrients from the Blue Mountains down to the Caribbean Sea, creating one of Jamaica's most fertile and biodiverse ecosystems along its path. What makes this valley truly extraordinary is its layered beauty. At river level, you're surrounded by towering bamboo groves that create natural cathedrals, their stems reaching up to 80 feet high and filtering sunlight into dancing patterns on the water. The banks are lined with massive mahogany trees, some over 200 years old, their roots creating natural amphitheaters where the water pools and eddies. Above this green canopy, limestone cliffs rise dramatically, their faces carved with caves and overhangs that shelter rare orchids and bromeliads. The valley's ecological importance cannot be overstated. This single waterway supports over 200 species of birds, including the endangered Jamaican tody and the magnificent red-billed streamer-tail hummingbird. The constant moisture and varied elevations create microclimates that support everything from tropical ferns to towering cecropia trees. It's a living laboratory where evolution continues to write its story, where every bend in the river reveals new wonders. But perhaps the most magical aspect of the Rio Grande Valley is how it engages all your senses. The sound of water flowing over rocks creates a natural symphony that changes with every season. The air carries the scent of wild ginger and coffee blossoms from nearby plantations, and the sight, the endless interplay of light and shadow, water and stone, creates a visual experience that feels almost sacred in its perfection. Number 11. Port Royal. Rising from the waters of Kingston Harbor like a ghost of maritime history, Port Royal stands as one of the Caribbean's most fascinating archaeological and historical sites. Once known as the wickedest city on Earth, this small cay was the epicenter of Caribbean trade and piracy in the 17th century, home to over 6,000 people packed into a space barely half a mile long. Today, what remains above water tells only part of the story. Beneath the harbor lies a perfectly preserved underwater city, making Port Royal one of the world's most important underwater archaeological sites. The visual impact of Port Royal is immediate and haunting. Ancient stone fortifications rise directly from the sea, their weathered walls speaking of centuries of storms, battles, and the relentless Caribbean sun. Fort Charles, the main fortress, presents a massive presence with its thick limestone walls and strategically placed cannon embrasures that once commanded the entire harbor. The fort's architecture is a testament to military engineering, with walls up to 12 feet thick designed to withstand both cannon fire and the frequent hurricanes that batter the Jamaican coast. What makes Port Royal truly extraordinary is its unique preservation. The Great Earthquake of 1692 didn't just destroy the city, it preserved it. In a matter of minutes, 2/3 of the bustling port town slipped beneath the waves, creating an underwater time capsule that archaeologists are still exploring today. The anaerobic conditions of the harbor bottom have preserved organic materials that would have long since decayed on land. Leather shoes, wooden ship hulls, even food remains that provide intimate glimpses into daily life 3 centuries ago. The site's ongoing archaeological significance cannot be overstated. Marine archaeologists have uncovered entire streets, complete buildings, and thousands of artifacts that paint a vivid picture of colonial Caribbean life. Taverns still contain their original furnishings, merchant houses hold their last inventories, and the harbor bottom reveals the skeletal remains of dozens of ships that once made Port Royal the busiest port in the New World. Walking through modern Port Royal, you're constantly aware of this hidden city beneath your feet. The community of fishermen and their families who live here today maintain many of the traditional ways of life that have persisted for generations. Their brightly painted houses line the narrow streets, and the aroma of fresh fish and traditional Jamaican spices fills the air. The juxtaposition of this living community above one of the world's most important underwater archaeological sites creates a unique sense of continuity with the past. Number 10. Dunn's River Falls. Cascading down a natural staircase of limestone terraces, Dunn's River Falls presents one of nature's most perfect sculptures. This isn't just a waterfall, it's a geological phenomenon that took thousands of years to create, where mineral-rich water has carved and sculpted the rock into a series of natural steps that seem designed by a master architect. The falls drop 180 feet from the tropical rainforest above to the Caribbean Sea below, creating a living interface between mountain and ocean that feels like stepping into a tropical dream. The limestone terraces that make these falls so unique are the result of an extraordinary geological process. Over millennia, calcium carbonate dissolved in the mountain water has precipitated out as it flows, building up layer upon layer of travertine deposits. These deposits don't just create the characteristic stepped appearance, they're continuously growing, meaning the falls are literally sculpting themselves with each passing day. The result is a waterfall that changes subtly over time, with new pools forming and old ones evolving in an endless cycle of natural creation. What makes Dunn's River Falls visually stunning is the interplay of textures and colors. The white limestone contrasts dramatically with the deep green of the surrounding rainforest, while the water itself appears almost crystalline as it flows over the smooth rock surfaces. Each terrace creates a different micro-environment. Some pools are shallow and warm, perfect for the tropical fish that have adapted to this unique habitat, while others are deep and cool, carved into the rock by centuries of flowing water. The fall's ecosystem is remarkably diverse for such a compact area. The constant spray creates a microclimate that supports an extraordinary variety of plants, from delicate ferns that thrive in the mist to robust tropical trees that anchor the surrounding forest. The water itself is home to several species of freshwater fish, including the endemic Jamaican killifish, which has adapted to the specific conditions created by the mineral-rich water. The surrounding rainforest adds another layer of wonder to the experience. Ancient bamboo groves create natural tunnels, their leaves filtering sunlight into dappled patterns that dance on the water. Towering trees draped with epiphytes and air plants create a living cathedral, while the calls of tropical birds provide a constant soundtrack to the visual spectacle. The air is thick with the scent of tropical flowers and the fresh, clean smell of moving water. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Dunn's River Falls is how it engages visitors as active participants in its beauty. The natural limestone steps are perfectly sized for climbing, creating a unique opportunity to experience the falls from within rather than just observing from outside. As you climb, each level reveals new perspectives and hidden details that aren't visible from below or above. Number 9. Cockpit Country. Stretching across the interior of Jamaica like a vast green puzzle, Cockpit Country presents one of the most geologically complex and biologically rich landscapes in the Caribbean. This 500 square mile region of cone-shaped hills and deep valleys represents the most extreme example of tropical karst topography in the world, where millions of years of rainfall have carved the limestone bedrock into a labyrinth of peaks, sinkholes, and underground rivers that create a landscape unlike anywhere else on Earth. The visual impact of cockpit country is both beautiful and bewildering. From above, it appears as an endless succession of rounded hills, each one separated by deep valleys that form a natural maze. These aren't ordinary hills. They're the remnants of an ancient limestone plateau that has been dissolved and carved by water over millions of years. The result is a landscape that seems to fold in on itself, where every view reveals new layers of green-clothed peaks stretching to the horizon. What makes this landscape truly extraordinary is its biological significance. The isolation created by the rugged terrain has allowed evolution to work in fascinating ways. Many of the valleys and peaks harbor endemic species found nowhere else on Earth. The region is home to over 1,500 species of flowering plants, many of them found only in cockpit country. The diverse habitats range from dry limestone forests on the exposed peaks to lush rainforests in the protected valleys, creating a living laboratory of tropical biodiversity. The geological processes that created cockpit country are still active today. Underground rivers continue to carve new caves and passages, while surface water dissolves the limestone, gradually deepening the valleys and sharpening the peaks. The region contains over 200 known caves, many of them interconnected in vast underground networks that are still being explored. These caves serve as crucial habitats for Jamaica's endemic bat species and contain some of the most spectacular speleothems, cave formations, in the Caribbean. The cultural significance of cockpit country cannot be overlooked. This rugged terrain served as a refuge for the Maroons, escaped slaves who established free communities in the 18th century and successfully resisted British colonial forces for decades. The landscape that made this region nearly impenetrable to colonial armies now protects some of Jamaica's most pristine ecosystems. Many of the traditional uses of native plants and sustainable farming practices developed by the Maroons continue to influence local communities today. Standing at one of the overlooks into cockpit country, you're witnessing the raw power of time and water to reshape the earth. The endless succession of peaks and valleys creates a sense of infinity, while the deep green of the forest canopy speaks to the incredible life force that thrives in this challenging environment. It's a landscape that challenges your sense of scale and reminds you that nature is capable of creating beauty in the most unexpected forms. Number 8. Martha Brae River. Flowing through the heart of Trelawney Parish like a liquid ribbon of emerald and gold, the Martha Brae River represents one of Jamaica's most pristine and ecologically significant waterways. This isn't just another tropical river, it's a 20-mile journey through some of the island's most diverse ecosystems, where limestone springs feed crystal-clear waters that support an extraordinary array of wildlife and plant life. The river's path takes it through everything from dense rainforest to open savanna, creating a constantly changing tableau of natural beauty. The river's source lies deep in the cockpit country, where underground springs fed by the vast limestone aquifer emerge from caves and fissures to create the main channel. This geological origin gives the Martha Brae its distinctive clarity and mineral content, creating water so pure it supports endemic fish species that have evolved specifically to thrive in these conditions. The spring-fed nature of the river also means it maintains a relatively constant temperature and flow rate throughout the year, creating stable conditions for both wildlife and the lush vegetation that lines its banks. What makes the Martha Brae visually stunning is the incredible diversity of landscapes it flows through. Near its source, the river cuts through limestone gorges where towering cliffs draped with ferns and air plants create natural cathedrals. Ancient trees bridge the narrow channel, their roots forming natural sculptures that have been polished smooth by centuries of flowing water. As the river descends toward the coast, it opens into broader valleys where sprawling mangrove forests create intricate ecosystems that serve as nurseries for countless species of fish, birds, and other wildlife. The ecological importance of the Martha Brae extends far beyond its immediate watershed. The river serves as a crucial corridor for wildlife movement, connecting the interior mountains with the coastal wetlands and creating pathways for both resident and migratory species. The diverse habitats along its banks support over 150 species of birds, including several endemic species like the Jamaican toady and the streamer-tail hummingbird. The river itself is home to numerous fish species, including the endemic Jamaican killifish and several species of mullet that migrate between fresh and salt water. The vegetation along the Martha Brae reads like a catalog of tropical plant diversity. Ancient mahogany and cecropia trees create a canopy that filters sunlight into dancing patterns on the water. Below, the understory is filled with wild ginger, heliconia, and countless species of ferns and mosses that thrive in the humid environment. Orchids and bromeliads decorate the trees, while water lilies and other aquatic plants create floating gardens in the quieter pools. Perhaps the most magical aspect of the Martha Brae is how it engages all your senses simultaneously. The sound of water flowing over rocks creates a natural symphony that changes with every bend in the river. The air carries the scent of tropical flowers mixed with the clean, fresh smell of moving water, and visually, the interplay of light and shadow, the reflection of the canopy in the clear water, and the constant movement of wildlife create a sensory experience that feels almost overwhelming in its richness and beauty. Number 7. Blue Mountain Peak. Rising 7,402 feet above sea level like a sleeping giant draped in clouds, Blue Mountain Peak stands as Jamaica's highest point, and one of the Caribbean's most spectacular natural monuments. This isn't just the island's tallest mountain, it's a geological masterpiece that took millions of years to form, where ancient volcanic activity and relentless tropical weather have created a landscape of stunning beauty and ecological significance. From its cloud-shrouded summit you can see virtually the entire island spread out below, with the Caribbean Sea stretching to the horizon in every direction. The mountain's distinctive blue appearance, which gives it its name, is created by a fascinating optical phenomenon. The combination of the mountain's elevation, the moisture in the air, and the scattering of light by water droplets creates a blue haze that envelops the peak, especially when viewed from a distance. This ethereal quality changes throughout the day, with the mountain appearing deep blue in the morning, almost purple at midday, and glowing with gold and orange highlights at sunset. What makes Blue Mountain Peak truly extraordinary is its unique ecosystem. The extreme elevation creates a cool, moist climate that's unlike anywhere else in the Caribbean. Temperatures at the summit can drop to near freezing, while the constant cloud cover creates a perpetual mist that supports plant life found nowhere else in Jamaica. The mountain is home to over 500 species of endemic plants, many of them found only on this single peak. Ancient tree ferns create prehistoric-looking forests, while rare orchids and bromeliads cling to the moss-covered rocks. The geological story of Blue Mountain Peak is equally fascinating. This mountain is part of the Blue Mountain Ridge, formed by ancient volcanic activity and subsequent tectonic uplift. The rock formations here reveal millions of years of geological history, with layers of volcanic ash, limestone, and shale creating a complex structure that continues to evolve. The peak itself is composed of volcanic rock that has been weathered and sculpted by millions of years of tropical storms, creating the dramatic cliffs and deep valleys that characterize the region. The mountain's ecological importance extends far beyond its immediate area. Blue Mountain Peak serves as a crucial watershed for much of eastern Jamaica, with numerous rivers and streams originating from springs on its slopes. The mountain's forests act as a natural reservoir, capturing moisture from the constant cloud cover and releasing it gradually throughout the year. This system supports not only the mountain's unique ecosystem, but also the agricultural regions below, including the famous Blue Mountain coffee plantations. The experience of standing on Blue Mountain Peak is both humbling and exhilarating. The summit offers a 360-degree view that encompasses virtually the entire island, from the bustling city of Kingston to the remote parishes of the interior. On clear days you can see as far as the mountains of Cuba over 100 miles away. The sense of scale is overwhelming. You're standing on a peak that rises almost vertical from sea level, surrounded by a landscape that seems to stretch infinitely in every direction. Number 6. Luminous Lagoon. Just when you think Jamaica's natural wonders couldn't get more extraordinary, the Luminous Lagoon in Falmouth reveals one of the most magical phenomena in the natural world. This isn't just another body of water, it's one of only 4 places on Earth where you can witness bioluminescence at this scale, where millions of microscopic organisms called dinoflagellates create an otherworldly light show that turns the water into liquid starlight. Every movement in the lagoon triggers an explosion of blue-green light, creating an experience that feels more like stepping into a fairy tale than visiting a natural landmark. The lagoon itself is a masterpiece of coastal geography. Fed by the Martha Brae River and connected to the Caribbean Sea, it creates a unique brackish environment where fresh and salt water mix in perfect proportions. This delicate balance of salinity, temperature, and nutrients creates the ideal conditions for Pyrodinium bahamensi, the microscopic organism responsible for the bioluminescence. These single-celled creatures are so small that a single drop of lagoon water can contain thousands of them. Yet together they create a light show visible from space. What makes the luminescence so extraordinary is both its beauty and its biological function. When disturbed, these dinoflagellates emit a bright blue-green light through a chemical reaction involving luciferin and luciferase, the same compounds that create firefly light. Scientists believe this bioluminescence serves as a defense mechanism, startling predators and potentially alerting larger predators to their presence. The result is a natural light show that responds to every ripple, every swimming fish, and every human movement with cascades of living light. The lagoon's ecosystem extends far beyond its famous light show. The mangrove forests that surround the lagoon create a complex habitat that supports an incredible diversity of life. These salt-tolerant trees serve as nurseries for countless species of fish, crustaceans, and birds. Their root systems filter the water, maintain the delicate chemical balance necessary for bioluminescence, and provide protection from storms and erosion. The canopy above teems with wildlife, from nesting herons and egrets to troops of mongoose and the occasional crocodile. The visual impact of the luminous lagoon varies dramatically with conditions and time of day. During the day it appears as a tranquil tropical lagoon, its dark waters reflecting the surrounding mangroves and sky. But as darkness falls, the magic begins. The slightest disturbance, a fish jumping, a paddle stirring the water, or a swimmer moving through the lagoon, triggers brilliant trails of light that seem to defy physics. The effect is so intense that swimmers appear to be moving through liquid electricity, their bodies outlined in blue-green fire. The lagoon's bioluminescence is at its most spectacular on warm, dark nights when the water temperature is high, and there's no competing light from the moon or nearby developments. Under these conditions, the entire lagoon can light up like a natural amphitheater, with every wave crest and ripple creating patterns of light that seem choreographed by an invisible hand. It's a reminder that the natural world is capable of creating beauty that surpasses even our most imaginative dreams. If this journey through Jamaica's hidden wonders has already left you breathless, hit that subscribe button, because we're only halfway through, and the most spectacular discoveries are yet to come. Number 5. Doctor's Cave Beach. Stretching along Montego Bay's pristine coastline like a crescent of pure paradise, Doctor's Cave Beach represents the pinnacle of Caribbean coastal beauty. This isn't just another pretty beach, it's a geological and ecological masterpiece where crystal-clear waters meet sugar-white sand in perfect harmony. The beach's unique characteristics stem from its position along a protected bay, where coral reefs offshore create calm, clear waters that reveal an underwater world of stunning complexity and beauty. The sand itself tells a fascinating geological story. Composed primarily of finely ground coral, limestone, and shells, it maintains a brilliant white color that reflects sunlight without becoming uncomfortably hot. This coral-derived sand is constantly being replenished by the offshore reef system, where parrotfish and other marine life continuously break down coral into fine particles that wash ashore. The result is a beach that feels almost artificially perfect, with sand so fine it squeaks under your feet and water so clear you can see the bottom even in deeper areas. What makes Doctor's Cave Beach truly extraordinary is its underwater ecosystem. The coral reefs that protect the beach from rough seas also create one of Jamaica's most diverse marine environments. The reefs themselves are living cities, constructed by countless generations of coral polyps that have built massive structures over thousands of years. These limestone fortresses support an incredible array of marine life, from tiny tropical fish that dart between the coral branches to larger predators like barracuda and nurse sharks that patrol the reef edges. The water clarity at Doctor's Cave Beach is legendary, often exceeding 100 feet of visibility. This clarity is the result of several factors working in perfect harmony. The coral reefs filter the water naturally, removing particles and nutrients that would otherwise cloud the water. The protected bay location means there's minimal wave action to stir up sediment, while the lack of significant river inputs keeps the water free from terrestrial runoff. The result is water so clear it seems almost like swimming in air. The beach's ecosystem extends beyond the water's edge into the terrestrial environment. The coastal vegetation includes native sea grapes, manchineel trees, and various salt-tolerant plants that have adapted to the challenging conditions of life at the interface between land and sea. These plants play crucial roles in stabilizing the beach, preventing erosion, and providing habitat for numerous bird species. The interplay between the terrestrial and marine ecosystems creates a complex web of life that supports everything from microscopic plankton to magnificent frigate birds. The visual beauty of Doctor's Cave Beach is enhanced by its setting within the broader landscape of Montego Bay. The beach curves along the bay in a perfect arc, with the blue mountains visible in the distance and the historic buildings of Montego Bay providing a backdrop that speaks to centuries of human habitation. The contrast between the intense blue of the deep water, the turquoise of the shallows, and the brilliant white of the sand creates a color palette that seems almost too perfect to be natural. Number 4. Black River. Flowing through the heart of St. Elizabeth Parish like a dark mirror reflecting the secrets of Jamaica's interior, the Black River represents one of the island's most ecologically significant and visually stunning waterways. This isn't just Jamaica's longest river, it's a lifeline that supports the island's largest wetland ecosystem, where mangrove forests, freshwater marshes, and coastal lagoons create a complex habitat that's home to some of the Caribbean's most spectacular wildlife, including the American crocodile and over 100 species of birds. The river's distinctive dark color, which gives it its name, comes from tannins leached from the vegetation in its vast watershed. These organic compounds, released by decomposing plant matter, create water that appears almost black in deep areas, but reveals a rich amber color in shallow water. This natural phenomenon is similar to what creates the dark water in the Amazon basin, and it serves important ecological functions, providing nutrients and creating slightly acidic conditions that support unique plant and animal communities. What makes the Black River truly extraordinary is its role as the centerpiece of Jamaica's largest wetland ecosystem. The river's lower reaches spread into a vast network of mangrove forests, freshwater marshes, and coastal lagoons that cover over 125 square miles. This wetland system, known as the Great Morass, is one of the most important ecosystems in the Caribbean, serving as a crucial stopover for migratory birds and a permanent home for numerous endemic species. The mangrove forests along the Black River are particularly spectacular. These salt-tolerant trees create a complex three-dimensional habitat that supports an incredible diversity of life. Red mangroves, with their distinctive prop roots, grow directly in the water, creating natural nurseries for fish and crustaceans. Black mangroves grow in slightly higher areas, their pneumatophores or breathing roots, creating a carpet of small spikes that emerge from the mud. White mangroves grow at the highest elevations, their broad leaves creating a canopy that provides nesting sites for numerous bird species. The river's most famous residents are the American crocodiles, which can grow up to 20 feet long and represent one of the largest populations in the Caribbean. These ancient predators have lived in the Black River system for millions of years, adapting perfectly to the brackish water environment where fresh and salt water mix. Watching these magnificent creatures basking on the riverbanks or gliding silently through the dark water is a reminder of the river's wild, untamed character. The bird life along the Black River is equally impressive. Over 100 species have been recorded in the area, including several endemic species and numerous migratory birds that use the wetlands as a crucial stopover. Great blue herons stand motionless in the shallows, while snowy egrets create brilliant white contrasts against the dark water. Ospreys and magnificent frigate birds soar overhead, while smaller species like the Jamaican tody and the yellow warbler flit through the mangrove canopy. The visual experience of traveling the Black River is constantly changing. In the upper reaches, the river flows through cattle pastures and agricultural areas, its banks lined with royal palms and bamboo groves. As it approaches the coast, the landscape becomes increasingly wild, with vast expanses of sawgrass marshes stretching to the horizon. The mangrove forests create natural tunnels, their arching branches filtering sunlight into patterns that dance on the dark water. Number 3. Reach Falls. Hidden deep in the Manchineel Valley, like a secret garden carved from living rock, Reach Falls represents one of Jamaica's most spectacular and pristine natural wonders. This isn't just another waterfall, it's a multi-tiered cascade that drops through a series of natural pools, caves, and rock formations that honestly seem designed by a master sculptor. The falls descend over 120 feet through a landscape of incredible beauty, where tropical rainforest meets ancient limestone to create a natural amphitheater that really feels like stepping into a lost world. The geological story of Reach Falls is written in the rock itself. The limestone formations that create the fall's distinctive terraced appearance were formed millions of years ago when this area was beneath the sea. Over time, tectonic forces lifted these marine deposits above sea level, where tropical rainfall began the slow process of dissolution and erosion that carved the intricate channels, pools, and caves that characterize the falls today. The result is a landscape that reveals the incredible power of water to shape stone over geological time. What makes Reach Falls truly extraordinary is its pristine condition. Unlike many of Jamaica's waterfalls, Reach Falls flows through largely undisturbed rainforest where the ecosystem remains virtually intact. The surrounding forest is home to over 200 species of plants, many of them endemic to this region of Jamaica. Ancient trees draped with air plants and epiphytes create a living cathedral, while the forest floor is carpeted with ferns, mosses, and flowering plants that thrive in the humid, shaded environment. The falls themselves create a series of distinct environments, each with its own character and ecosystem. The upper pools are shallow and warm, fed by springs that emerge from the limestone bedrock. These pools support unique communities of freshwater fish, including several endemic species that have adapted to the specific conditions created by the mineral-rich water. The deeper pools at the base of the falls are cooler and more dynamic, constantly stirred by the force of falling water and home to different species adapted to these turbulent conditions. The cave systems associated with Reach Falls add another dimension to its beauty. Behind the main cascade, natural caves carved by centuries of flowing water create hidden chambers where the sound of falling water is amplified and echoes off the limestone walls. These caves are decorated with flowstone formations, stalactites, and other speleothems that have been slowly building over thousands of years. The interplay of light and shadow, water and stone, creates a sensory experience that feels almost otherworldly. The biodiversity of the Reach Falls ecosystem is remarkable for such a compact area. The constant moisture and varied microclimates support an incredible array of life, from tiny insects and spiders to larger animals like the Jamaican boa and various species of bats that roost in the caves. The area is also home to numerous bird species, including several that are endemic to Jamaica. The sound of their calls mixing with the noise of falling water creates a natural symphony that enhances the visual beauty of the falls. The visual impact of Reach Falls is enhanced by its setting within the broader landscape of the Blue Mountains. The falls are surrounded by peaks that rise over 3,000 feet, their slopes covered in pristine rainforest that extends unbroken to the horizon. This wilderness setting creates a sense of isolation and pristine beauty that's increasingly rare in the modern world. Standing at the base of the falls, surrounded by towering trees and the sound of cascading water, you feel connected to something much larger than yourself. Number 2. 7 Mile Beach. Stretching along Negro's western coast like a ribbon of pure gold, 7 Mile Beach represents the absolute pinnacle of Caribbean coastal beauty. This isn't just a beach, it's a natural phenomenon, where millions of years of coral growth, wave action, and geological processes have created what many consider the most beautiful beach in the Caribbean. The beach's gentle curve follows the natural contours of the coastline, creating a crescent of white sand that seems to glow with its own inner light against the brilliant blue of the Caribbean Sea. The sand composition of 7 Mile Beach is a marvel of natural engineering. Composed primarily of finely ground coral, limestone, and shells, it maintains a brilliant white color while remaining surprisingly cool underfoot, even in the intense tropical sun. This coral-derived sand is constantly being replenished by the offshore reef system, where parrotfish and other marine life continuously break down coral into fine particles that wash ashore. The grain size is perfectly uniform, creating a beach that feels almost artificially perfect beneath your feet. What makes 7 Mile Beach truly extraordinary is its underwater ecosystem. The coral reefs that run parallel to the beach create one of the Caribbean's most diverse marine environments. These reefs are living cities, constructed by countless generations of coral polyps that have built massive structures over thousands of years. The reefs support an incredible array of marine life, from tiny tropical fish that create living rainbows in the clear water to larger predators like barracuda and nurse sharks that patrol the deeper areas. The water clarity at 7 Mile Beach is legendary throughout the Caribbean. Visibility often exceeds 100 feet, allowing swimmers and snorkelers to see the bottom even in relatively deep water. This exceptional clarity is the result of several factors working in perfect harmony. The coral reefs filter the water naturally, removing particles and nutrients that would otherwise cloud the water. The lack of significant river inputs keeps the water free from terrestrial runoff, while the steady trade winds create just enough wave action to oxygenate the water without stirring up sediment. The beach's ecosystem extends beyond the water's edge into the terrestrial environment. The coastal vegetation includes native sea grapes, coconut palms, and various salt-tolerant plants that have adapted to life at the interface between land and sea. These plants play crucial roles in stabilizing the beach, preventing erosion, and providing habitat for numerous bird species. The interplay between the terrestrial and marine ecosystems creates a complex web of life that supports everything from microscopic plankton to magnificent frigate birds soaring overhead. The visual beauty of 7 Mile Beach is enhanced by its dramatic setting. The beach faces due west, creating spectacular sunsets that paint the sky in brilliant oranges, reds, and purples. The famous cliffs of Negril rise dramatically at the southern end of the beach, their limestone faces glowing gold in the evening light. To the north, the beach curves gently away until it disappears into the haze, creating a sense of infinite space and possibility. The geological forces that created 7 Mile Beach are still active today. The beach continues to evolve, with sand being constantly redistributed by waves and currents. Storm events can dramatically reshape the beach profile, while calmer periods allow the sand to settle into its characteristic gentle slope. This dynamic process means that the beach is never quite the same from one visit to the next, yet it maintains its essential character as one of the world's most beautiful coastal environments. Number 1. Blue Hole. Plunging 200 feet into the heart of Jamaica's tropical landscape like a sapphire set in emerald, the Blue Hole represents the ultimate expression of the island's geological artistry. This isn't just a swimming hole, it's a natural cathedral carved from limestone over millions of years, where underground rivers emerge from the depths of the earth to create a pool of water so intensely blue, it seems to glow with its own inner light. The Blue Hole is nature's masterpiece, a perfect fusion of geological wonder and ecological significance that embodies everything that makes Jamaica extraordinary. The hole's incredible depth and distinctive color are the result of a complex geological process that began millions of years ago. The limestone bedrock was slowly dissolved by slightly acidic groundwater, creating a vast underground chamber that eventually collapsed to form the surface opening we see today. The extreme depth, over 200 feet in some areas, means that sunlight can only penetrate the upper layers of water, creating the intense blue color that gives the hole its name. This same depth creates a thermocline where warm surface water sits atop much cooler deep water, creating distinct layers that support different ecosystems. What makes the Blue Hole truly extraordinary is its role as a window into Jamaica's underground river system. The hole is fed by underground springs that emerge from caves deep beneath the surface, bringing crystal clear water that has been filtered through miles of limestone bedrock. This water is incredibly pure, with a mineral content that creates perfect conditions for both aquatic life and the intense blue coloration. The spring flow is constant throughout the year, maintaining the hole's level even during the driest seasons. The ecological significance of the Blue Hole extends far beyond its visual beauty. The deep, cool water creates a unique habitat that supports species found nowhere else in Jamaica. The hole is home to several endemic fish species that have adapted to the specific conditions created by the extreme depth and constant temperature. The deeper waters remain a constant 70 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, while the surface layers warm with the tropical sun, creating distinct thermal zones that support different communities of aquatic life. The surrounding ecosystem is equally remarkable. The Blue Hole sits within a natural amphitheater of limestone cliffs draped with tropical vegetation that has adapted to the constant moisture and humidity created by the deep water. Ancient trees lean over the water's edge, their roots finding purchase in the limestone cracks, and their canopies creating a natural cathedral overhead. Ferns cascade down the rock faces, while orchids and bromeliads find homes in every crevice. The interplay of light filtering through the canopy and reflecting off the impossibly blue water creates a visual symphony that changes throughout the day. The hole's connection to Jamaica's vast underground river system makes it a crucial component of the island's hydrology. The springs that feed the Blue Hole are part of a network of underground waterways that extend for miles beneath the surface, carrying water from the interior mountains to the coast. This underground system is one of Jamaica's most important natural resources, providing fresh water for both human communities and natural ecosystems throughout the region. The visual impact of the blue hole is immediate and honestly, overwhelming. The intensity of the blue color defies description. It's a shade of blue that seems almost artificial, as if someone has mixed paint with liquid sapphire. The water is so clear that you can see deep into the hole, watching the light fade from brilliant turquoise at the surface to deep indigo in the depths. The limestone walls that surround the hole create perfect natural diving platforms, while the overhanging vegetation provides shade and enhances the sense of being in a hidden paradise. But perhaps the most magical aspect of the blue hole is how it engages all your senses simultaneously. The sound of water trickling from hidden springs mingles with the calls of tropical birds hidden in the canopy above. The air is filled with the scent of tropical flowers and the clean, mineral smell of spring water. The feel of the cool water against your skin provides relief from the tropical heat, while the sight of the impossibly blue depths creates a sense of awe and wonder that stays with you long after you leave. Standing at the edge of the blue hole, you're witnessing the culmination of millions of years of geological processes, the slow dissolution of limestone, the carving of underground chambers, the emergence of springs that have flowed for millennia. Yet it also represents the vibrant, living present, where endemic species continue to evolve and adapt, where the forest canopy provides habitat for countless creatures, and where the cycle of water from mountain to sea continues as it has for eons. The blue hole isn't just Jamaica's most beautiful natural wonder, it's a perfect microcosm of everything that makes this island extraordinary. It combines geological majesty with ecological significance, natural beauty with scientific importance, and creates an experience that touches something deep within anyone who encounters it. It's a reminder that in a world increasingly dominated by human activity, there are still places where nature reigns supreme, where beauty exists for its own sake, and where the natural world continues to create wonders that surpass our wildest imagination. This journey through Jamaica's 12 most spectacular wonders reveals an island that refuses to be contained within simple definitions. From the bioluminescent magic of the luminous lagoon to the geological artistry of the blue hole, from the pristine wilderness of Cockpit Country to the perfect coastal beauty of 7 Mile Beach, Jamaica presents itself as a living masterpiece where every landscape tells a story of natural forces working over millions of years to create something extraordinary. These aren't just scenic destinations, they're windows into the incredible processes that shape our planet, reminders of the delicate balance that sustains life, and testimonies to the raw power of nature to create beauty that honestly transcends human understanding. Each wonder we've explored today represents a different facet of Jamaica's geological and ecological heritage, from the ancient limestone formations that create its spectacular caves and waterfalls to the living coral reefs that protect its coastlines and support its marine ecosystems. But perhaps most importantly, these wonders remind us that true beauty lies not just in what we can see, but in understanding the complex systems and processes that create and sustain it. The blue hole's impossible blue isn't just a visual spectacle, it's the result of precise geological conditions, underground water systems, and ecological relationships that have been developing for millions of years. 7 Mile Beach's perfect white sand isn't just pretty, it's the product of living coral reefs, countless generations of marine life, and the constant interaction between land and sea. Jamaica's natural wonders are more than just beautiful places. They're irreplaceable ecosystems, geological monuments, and living laboratories where the story of our planet continues to unfold. They remind us that we're part of something much larger than ourselves, connected to systems and processes that span geological time and encompass the entire web of life on Earth. In a world that often feels disconnected from the natural world, these wonders offer us the opportunity to, reconnect with the awesome power and beauty of the planet we call home. If this journey through Jamaica's hidden treasures has amazed you, subscribe and share it with someone who loves discovery. Because in a world full of wonders, the greatest adventure is simply opening your eyes to see them. Some places you visit, others stay with you forever, until the next destination.